You're listening to The Back 40, the podcast for Ontario farmers, covering topics and issues that matter most to Ontario agriculture. Brought to you by Trillium Mutual Insurance, bringing the ag community together one podcast at a time. I'm the host of The Back 40, Mike Bryan, agribusiness specialist at Trillium Mutual Insurance. For many of us, it was a rite of passage as we grew up in rural Ontario. First, we became members of 4-H, and then we joined Junior Farmers Association of Ontario. For a lot of us in the rural communities, we've been through their program, and it has served very well for many, many years. I'm really pleased to be joined today by Meghan McLeod. Meghan is the Director of Communications for the Junior Farmers Association of Ontario. Meghan, welcome to the Back 40.
Thank you so much for having me, Mike.
So just for our listeners that may not be familiar with Junior Farmers, tell us about it. What is it?
Absolutely. So Junior Farmers is an organization, we like to say it's run by youth for youth. We mainly focus on the age group of 15 to 29. Members run our provincial association. So those members who are 15 to 29, once they have some experience on their local executive under their belt, they are nominated to run on our provincial board, and then they kind of help make the decisions for the province as well. Clubs run projects in their local communities as well. They fundraise for charities in which the members themselves are passionate about. And most of all, they make friendships that'll last a lifetime. And actually, we have an example of that here in Durham region. We have a group of alumni, and my grandparents are part of it, and they have a group of friends, and they've gotten together since they've aged out of Junior Farmers. They get together every summer for a picnic, and they stay in contact with each other pretty much throughout the year.
Yes, I know from stories that we're told that my parents actually met at Junior Farmers. They were both in the Junior Farmer Choir. So there are lifelong associations that are made, lifelong friendships, and have been going on for many, many years here. So how did you get involved?
So it's a bit of a story, actually. Like I just said, my grandparents were involved. So as soon as I came at the age of 15, they were like, hey, start thinking about Junior Farmers. And I was like, okay. I just kind of sat on the idea for a while. And then I was in 4-H in Durham West. And I had some friends that we were in the plowing club together. And they had said that there was a Junior Farmers meeting coming up. And I said, hey, my grandparents have told me about that. And, the family connection for me just goes way back. So I started tagging along to meetings. Just as a little sidekick for my older friends. It quickly grew, and I have sat on the executive board of Durham Region Junior Farmers, and I kind of ballparked it about 2018, and then I've sat on the provincial board as well since about 2020.
So you're well involved in this. What was it that prompted you to get involved in the actual management of the program, if you like, both at the regional level and at the provincial level?
For me, the local board part of it was I had so many connections within our community, and I wanted to put those to use. I had so many ideas. A lot of clubs are looking for new members and new ways to keep their club going. And actually, I was just telling my significant other, we were out on date night, and we were talking about the future of our club and how we'd love to keep it going for our nieces or nephews or even our kids.
These clubs have been going for a very long time. The one in our area certainly has been going for quite a while. And I went to the one in the University of Guelph. And as far as I know, it's still going as well. So
it is.
There's a lot of these that have kept going over the years and restructured or amalgamated with others. But the important part is that they managed to keep going.
Yeah, I know I have friends that are out in Huron-Firth County, and they said that they amalgamated just to keep their club going. That was really nice to hear. And of course, they're a thriving club today.
It's not too surprising. I mean, we're seeing fewer and fewer of us that are farming, fewer and fewer kids that are coming up that are going to have the interest in the Junior Farmers there. This is an opportunity, though, for you to give it a bit of a plug. Tell people what you've done in Junior Farmers and why it's important to you.
Oh gosh. Okay, so I'll start locally. As I've said before, I'm a member of the Durham Region Junior Farmers, formerly Durham West, for any listeners. Every year, we've started doing can and bottle drives. It's just a way to bring our club together, get some community involvement happening, as well as we do bartending for local events. So Durham Farm Connections, it's just a fun agricultural committee. They just held a Celebrate Agriculture Night, and Junior Farmers was asked to bartend. And the amount of people I saw there, they haven't had it in 2 years, I believe. So it was really, really nice to just get back out and see people. I went to school at Conestoga College for public relations, and I was fortunate enough to do my school placement through Junior Farmers Association of Ontario. And there I was able to put my skills that I had learned through school, and I was able to put them into Junior Farmers. And of course, being the communications director, that ties right in. So
Yes, it does. Now, if you were to have the opportunity here to get someone who is saying, Megan, I'm thinking about belonging into junior farms, I'm thinking about joining, what would there be for me? What would you tell them?
oh my goodness. Lifelong friendship. I have so many friendships that are across the province. And really, the only time we get to see each other is provincial events. And of course, you pick up right where you left off. I will say this, there have been quite a few relationships come out of Junior Farmers.
Yes,
I'm
there
not,
have.
I am fortunate enough to know some people who have recently gotten together. Their stag and doe, or their Jack and Jill is in February. So they're in the process of, they're engaged, they're getting married. I'm fortunate enough to fall under that category. I met my significant other through Junior Farmers. Like I said, I'll be forever grateful that I walked into the Sunderland Co-op boardroom one night. So there's so many networking opportunities with Junior Farmers. If you're an advocate like me and so many others on the provincial board, Junior Farmers is definitely for you. You get to network with like-minded individuals who think farming. And, you don't have to be a farmer to be involved in agriculture. There are so many other job opportunities as well. I applied for a job at Master Feeds, and unfortunately I was still in school at the time, so I had to decline. But I walked into the interview and I said, yeah, I'm really involved with Junior Farmers. And they were like, oh, no way. The ties back to your community, and you can even use them in your workplace as well. It's fantastic.
Yeah, there's a lot of us out there that have been through Junior Farmers, and we certainly know what the club is all about. Now, you mentioned that you were just recently at an event.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Sure. So Junior Farmers has events throughout the year. Most recently, we had Summer Games, which was held in Renfrew County in June. And then the one I was just talking about was Autumn Profile, and it was held in Oxford County. And there's a series of activities that we did. There was the tractor pull, just different things that you don't think about. And then as soon as you're at an event and you're doing it, you're like, oh, wow, I never knew this could be an activity. So any upcoming events, we have Sing Swing, which is super duper fun. It's pretty much a competition. You can enter homecraft. There's a talent portion. There's singing, there's dancing, there's photography, there's metalworking. So much fun. And then in November, we have a couple things happening. We have OYFF, which is the Ontario Young Farmer Forum. It's November 20th to 21st, and it's being held in Middlesex County. And it ties in with the OFA convention as well. And then we also have Winter Games, which, as far as I know, no clubs have put a bid in for. So the location and the date is still to be determined on that in 2023. So we have March conference, which is our AGM. So a new board of directors will be elected in. And then it's just a really big networking opportunity for us to come together. And that will all be held in 2023.
That's a lot of events for people to get involved in. And that's important, right? Because as you say, that networking opportunity that you get, those are going to be very important down the road.
Yeah, definitely. And like I said before, I have met these friends through provincial events, through being on the executive board. And we see each other from provincial event to provincial event, sometimes chat on Facebook, and then we pick up right where we left off at the next provincial event. It's like no time has passed. Fun fact, I went to my first provincial event was Autumn Profile in 2016 in Lindsay, Ontario. And Autumn Profile has been my favorite event since.
Yeah, so you've been doing this a long time then.
I have been, yeah. So I first kind of dipped my feet in 2016. So I was just on the cusp of joining. I was just 15. And then I got really involved with the club, and I took a year off because I was graduating high school. So it was a big year for me. I took a bit of a step back and then full force right into it when I went to college, and doing local junior farmer stuff from 3 hours away was fantastic. I loved it.
Yeah, it's quite the opportunity that we have these days.
Yeah.
So I want you to think a little bit big picture here. And somebody asked you, what role does junior farmers play in Ontario, in rural Ontario? Why is it important? What would you say to that question?
Oh gosh. So for as long as I can remember, junior farmers has been a really big part of people's lives. Like you said in your intro, you're in 4-H It's kind of assumed that you're going to junior farmers. That's not always the case. People start in 4-H and they continue out till they're 21. Unfortunately, this is my last year in 4-H, so I'm a little sad about that. But I'm lucky that I have junior farmers to kind of keep me going. Per that, Junior Farmers has this thing. We say we're building leaders and building communities. So in terms of building leaders, our members hold executive positions within their own club and within the provincial board as well, as I've said. And this gives them a chance to take the skills they've learned from the provincial board or being on their local board and apply them to other community organizations that they might be involved in. So it just kind of gives them those skills and resources to be able to take and say, hey, oh, I want to take this on. Or if somebody asks you to do something, yeah, no problem. I've done it with junior farmers before. Let me apply this to your organization as well.
There's a huge advantage to being able to say, you know what, we're involved in an organization and we run it. It's an opportunity that a lot of youth don't get. We're used to the idea as kids grow up that we run organizations for them. This is one that you run yourself and you get to make your own mistakes and you get to live with them and you get to get your own successes as well.
Yeah, so we're run by youth for youth. We're all in our 20s and we've been lucky enough to follow in the footsteps of some incredible presidents and past presidents. We just want to keep the momentum going and we want to be able to keep junior farmers going for as long as it's possible. On the topic of building the community portion, so clubs can run projects within their own communities, mainly focusing on ag awareness, environmental conservation, and to benefit their communities as a whole. Like I said before, Durham Region holds a can, bottle, and battery drive. We try for every spring and we try for every fall. I'm not sure if we'll make it for this fall, but watch for us next spring. And then clubs also hold fundraisers for families in need. Durham Region has been really fortunate. We haven't had a lot of those, but when something does happen, we rally. And it's the same for our community.
Do you like what you're hearing from the Back 40? We'd like to hear from you. Send us an email with your comments and thoughts to theback40@trilliummutual.com or follow us on social media @trilliummutual. I think that maybe is something that a lot of people forget about when they think of junior farmers is, yeah, there's a lot of great events and you organize a lot of places where you can go and get to see people and do a lot of fun stuff. But when there's a need out there too, that's also part of what the club does. That's part of what the local club does or the provincial part does. I mean, that idea that you're going to get out there and raise money for a worthy cause, that also gives your meaning to the group as well.
Exactly. And, we say that we're such a small club here in Durham Region that we really are really good friends. And I'm fortunate enough to have those friends I can rely on if I need something at a drop of a hat. So I'm very, very fortunate to have those people. And like I said, you build friendships that last a lifetime.
Yeah, it's amazing. Some of the people, I wouldn't say I met them at Junior Farmers. I met them at school. But some of those people are people that I can simply pick up the phone and say, hey, I'm going to be in the area. Have you got a bed? And that's the type of friendships that you build out of clubs like this.
Yeah. And actually just touching on that topic of you can call them up and say, hey, I'm in the area. Junior Farmers pre-COVID, of course, we're trying to get back into it. We held exchanges. So people from, I'm trying to think of where it was, the UK, London, England, Scotland, Ireland, Wales. I think that's it that I can remember. It's not it, but that's all I can remember off the top of my head. I was planning on going to Scotland next year. And of course, I was going to bring my significant other with me. And he was like, we can save so much money on hotel rooms because we can just call these people up who we haven't seen in years. Keep that in mind and say, hey, we're in the area. Would you mind if we crashed on your couch? It would almost always be a yes. So to have those connections, especially across the ocean, is incredible.
Yeah, I have them everywhere. And the idea that you're crashing on someone's couch, the cost of it is a little bit of conversation and catching up as to what's been going on. And that's really not that much of a cost when it comes right down to it. It's not a cost for the people that are hosting or the people that are there. It's just good fun to catch up with people again. Now, other than the personal connections there, what do you think, looking back on this 20 years after you've graduated out of or you've left Junior Farmers, what do you think the biggest advantage or biggest benefit of having been part of Junior Farmers is going to be for you?
Oh gosh, I don't even want to think that far down the road.
Oh, trust me, it gets here faster than you might think.
Oh my gosh. That's a good one. I look at my grandparents and I look at my aunt and how the skills that they learned in junior farmers and 4-H too, but mainly junior farmers have applied into their daily lives and how they take those skills that they learned from junior farmers and tie them into even their careers as well. In my case, I was really lucky. I wanted to work in agriculture. I didn't have the marks to go through for a vet. I don't have a green thumb. So that was kind of out of the question. So I thought business, I can get into ag business. And of course, I didn't have the marks to get into Guelph University. So I did the next best thing, and that was public relations. And so now I have those capabilities to go out and build those relationships with the suppliers, with the marketers, with, anyone involved in the ag community and say, hey, I was in junior farmers. Let's chat. Yeah. Public relations in ag. I did a whole topic on it in one of my classes, and my teacher, who was from Kitchener, she had no idea what agriculture was. So it was a great way for me to promote it as well.
Yeah, it's you touched on something there where we talk about agriculture and heading for the agricultural programs, be they college or university.
Yeah.
But I had this conversation with Rene Van Acker, the dean of OAC, and he says part of the problem with agriculture and the viewpoint of the careers in agriculture is everybody thinks about getting your hands dirty and growing crops or looking after animals, but there's so much more to it.
Absolutely. And we released on social media on our website as well. Junior Farmers is not just for farmers. And unfortunately, it's in our name, but we're rural youth. And you don't have to be on a farm to join Junior Farmers. We have people like myself who are in business. I have a friend out in Huron-Firth, and she's in finance and accounting. We have mechanics, we have engineers, we have school teachers, and we come together, and it's like-minded individuals.
You've hit on that. Like if you go back 50, 60, 70 years ago and you start talking junior farmers, most people in rural Ontario, outside of the villages, that's what they were involved in. They were involved in farming. Yeah. But that's all changed today. And if I go up my own road here, less than half the people are directly involved in agriculture. They do other things. They live in the country, but they're still rural. They still have a lot of those same values, just like as if they had grown up farming as well.
Exactly.
And as you say, it's not just farmers, and it's exactly. Youth. And we don't do a good enough job of attracting youth into the agricultural industry and into the agricultural area. And anything we can do to encourage people to have a career in agriculture is a positive.
Absolutely. And, I think it ties back to 4-H as well. Mm-hmm. If there is one person that is willing to step up from Junior Farmers Club in your area, attend a 4-H meeting and say, okay, what can junior farmers do to help 4-H? Junior farmers are notorious. I know, especially out in the East. They go and they help at 4-H events. They go and help at judging night, at Go for the Gold, at the local annual banquet at the end of the year. And they get some pretty good members coming out from 4-H. But I think it ties back to just having that one person on your junior farmer club that's willing to go to 4-H and say, we want to collaborate with you guys.
Yeah.
And there is going to be some members that say, nope, I'm done after 4-H. I'm okay. Thanks for the opportunity. And then there's going to be some members that say, yep, I want in.
It's interesting because junior farmer members, when you look through the people that are well respected and do a lot for the agricultural industry, there's a lot of those people that went through junior farmers. Yeah. It's kind of one of those things that you almost assume that people were because everybody was, right?
Well, exactly. And, going back to the whole, you have friendships for a long time. I competed at the international plowing match for the last 2 years that it's been functional. And I can at least pinpoint one person out of every batch of queens that have been involved in junior farmers. And all I have to say is during my introduction, I'm really involved in my local Junior Farmers Association. I'm really involved in the provincial executive board for Junior Farmers Association of Ontario. And almost somebody will come to me at the end of the night and say, you're involved in junior farmers. Do you know so-and-so? And I said, yeah, I do know so-and-so. Let's chat. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah, pretty cool.
It's awesome. Exactly. That's the benefit of being small town, is everybody has the same values. and they're not afraid to step in and help with whatever you need.
Yeah, now I can think of multiple situations over the years here where there's been a need for people to step in.
Yeah.
One in particular that goes back quite a few years ago, but a gentleman was waiting for a heart transplant. And of course, when they call, you go. You
Yeah.
grab your bag and you head out, and he still had all the fall plowing left to do. We had 70 tractors in the fields plowing for him. We had a lunch there. We were all told, make sure you fill the tractors when you're done. This isn't a charity case here. We appreciate you being here. There wasn't a tractor pulled up to the pumps. We could all afford that. We could all pull together to give something. And that's the type of community that you're talking about there.
Definitely. And I'm going to reference Facebook for a minute because I follow, actually, you might know him, Farmer Tim, or you might know of him, I should say.
I know of
Farmer
him,
Tim.
yes.
Yeah. I see on Facebook where, he's busy, and there was a post he referenced, I forget when it was, and he needed help. And whether it was cutting hay or baling hay or harvesting or something, and his neighbor stepped in. He returns the favors. He goes out and he helps people. And I'm just going to reference something local. Is one of our neighbors' barns, one of their calf barns burnt down in February. And we didn't even know about it. They hadn't messaged us. One of my dad's friends, and actually one of my friends, is on the Writers Association. And he texted my dad. And luckily, Dad was awake, and he said, "Hey, just checking in on you guys. Are you guys okay? We have a fire call for a barn." And so Dad's like, "Oh, I don't know. Like, what's the address?" So we saw the address, and we knew right away.
So you've obviously chosen that you want to have a career in agriculture. What about agriculture is important to you to be involved in it?
So my boyfriend and I are thinking about starting a small business doing beef sales, and we're thinking about expanding as well. I want to be able to keep it so it's farm to table. It's not, you go to the Royal, you go to the CNE, people have no idea where their food comes from. So a big part of why I want to be involved is agriculture education. I want to be able to tell people, hey, I'm in agriculture, I have a beef business, and I want people to say, where can I get it? So being a part of Junior Farmers, like I've said, I've made an incredible amount of friends. One friend in particular, she runs, we have an all about farming trailer for Durham Farm Connections. And I was fortunate enough to be asked to represent the Durham Farm Connections and be an ambassador for that trailer down at the CNE for 3 days. Just the amount of people that I stand and talk to, and I can use my skills from Junior Farmers and talk to these people about agriculture, and knowing I have those resources and those people to talk to. And another thing with Junior Farmers as well is you have contacts in almost every industry. So if I have a question for the chicken and poultry industry, I have friends with chickens, with broiler birds, or with layer hens that I can call up and be like, hey, I have a question for you. I need your help.
So if somebody wanted to get involved, somebody wants to join Junior Farmers, how do they find out more information?
Sure. So we have a pretty good social media presence. Every club pretty much has a social media presence. You're going to find a local club, whether it be on social media or on our website, www.jfao.on.ca.
That'll get you in touch with your local club, and you'll be able to find out what they have to offer in your area there.
I just want to mention that Junior Farmers has a 4-H rep. Her name is Alyssa. Her role is to communicate with the 4-H board and how they can get involved with Junior Farmers. So every Junior Farmers Association, or club, I should say, will have a 4-H organization local to them. And she kind of acts as a liaison between Junior Farmers Association of Ontario and the provincial board, as well as the provincial 4-H and the local 4-H associations as well.
So there's another way that you can find out something about Junior Farmers then. If you're a member of 4-H, it's pretty easy to reach out and find out where your local club is.
Exactly. And you know what? Almost any 4-H association would have Junior Farmers alumni.
I would think so. I would think so. Meghan, it's been great talking to you today. I really appreciate you taking the time to join us here on the Back 40.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate the opportunity. And I just want to say a little shout out to our 2022-2023 provincial board for giving me this opportunity and letting me roll with it. So thank you so much.
Oh, it's been awesome to have you on. You've done a great job.
Thank you so much. See you later.
You've been listening to The Back 40, brought to you by Trillium Mutual Insurance. Be sure to subscribe to The Back 40 wherever you find your favorite podcasts so that you don't miss an episode. The Back 40, bringing the ag community together one podcast at a time. I'm Mike Brine. Until next time, take care and stay safe.